This is the NOWATCH X. While it might look just like a regular watch, which it is, there's a lot more to it. And I actually have a lot of thoughts on this device, which I'm excited to share. So grab your favorite drink and snack, and let's get started. So what is it? The NOWATCH X is a smart watch. Though it doesn't look like a smartwatch, it tracks your health. Things we've come to expect with smart devices: sleep tracking, heart rate tracking, stress tracking, a lot more, which we'll get into later in the video. Now, it starts at $649, but there's a lot that goes into that price, which we're also gonna get into today. It's not trying to compete with the likes of the Apple Watch or any of the smartwatches out there today. It's taking a different approach, and there's some different functionality here that I think really sets it apart. So why does it exist? Right? So most smartwatches you're thinking about share all of your notifications with you. They do track health. There's a lot of great benefits to an Apple Watch, for instance. This is taking a different approach. This is tracking your health, the things that matter most, silently, all while just being a regular watch as well. No screen, no notifications, no drama, just silent, insightful health tracking. And a design that actually elevates your look, unlike some other smartwatches on the market. So as always, let's dive into the form, the design and build quality of this watch. So the version I've been using is the stainless steel, silver classic, and oak. It's 37 millimeters, which is a little small for my wrist. It has the stainless steel case, an oak leather strap, and it's just that sort of classy, super clean white face aesthetic. I really like the way it looks. It's 10.9 millimeters thick and an 18 millimeter lug width. It's water resistant up to 50 meters as well. But one of the coolest features about this watch is it's actually modular, and I kind of just want to do this on camera because why not? This is actually the charging puck, and on the bottom of this is a magnet. And what you can do is actually take out the watch itself and put all sorts of different fashionable things in here. They make stones that you can put in here. They make just different stainless steels and golds and silvers and designs that you can put in here. And the watch charger acts as this special magnetic puck that allows you to take in and out whichever design you want. So say you're out there, you know, during the day, you need to know what time it is, you're in and out of meetings, but then you're gonna go out with your friends later and you don't need to know what time it is. You don't really care. You can swap out the watch face for something a little more elegant. Maybe you're going to a nice dinner or something, and you don't even wanna be reminded of what time it is. There's a certain modularity to this. And by the way, all the health tracking is still in this unit here. So you're not losing any of that. This is literally just a watch face, as you can see here. And I should have shown it on this camera because that's what I have. To put it back in, you just drop it right back in there. Technically, I should just use the puck thing again, but then you have that just gorgeous design again, which is fantastic. Again, if you want to pop it out, boop, you just pop it out, easy as that. Drop it back in, slide it off, and you're ready to go. Super strong magnets, but I think that's what makes this NOWATCH X so interesting. So I think what else is cool is, and this matters a lot to me, it might not matter a lot to you, but even the packaging it came in is modular. So this is what it came in, and it was just in a box. So once you open the box, you get this bag. And I think what's cool is, depending on what you buy, say you buy a couple extra bracelets, say you buy a couple extra modular pieces to put into the watch face, they have this cork here that they just stack. So you can see this is the charger here. This is the how to use. Pull that off. Here's the stainless steel disc they sent me to use instead of the watch face. If I don't want to have the watch, I can just drop this in there instead. Pull that off. This is where the charger sat. Pull that off. That's where the watch was sitting. Pull that off. Here's an extra black band that they sent over as well. So much about this company is so thoughtful. And of course, cork is an interesting choice, but the fact that depending on what you order, they just stack your pieces is so cool to me. And I think that's like brilliant. And I love that. And just another one of those things where it's like, they didn't have to do that. They could just throw your things in a plastic box and send it to you. But there's just thought and attention that have gone into this. And I think that's really special. So now we're gonna move into the function. Like, what does this thing do? What are some of the specs that might be important to you? As well as we're gonna dive into the app here in a second as well. So just to read these off quickly, battery life up to 5 days on a charge, charging through, as I showed you, this magnetic puck. It's got USB-C here on the back. You plug that in. There's a little light here to show you if it's done. Magnetic, you just slap it down there. Here, let me show you really quickly the back of the watch, what that looks like. You've got the heart rate sensor going off right now, but these metal pieces pieces here obviously align with the magnets on the charger, and you're on your way charging. The fact that the charger is stainless steel as well is just another one of those premium touches that aren't necessary. Maybe it feels necessary to them, and to me I think it is, but there's just everything about this product, from the packaging all the way to just using it every day, feels very premium and thoughtful to me, which I think is just something different. So to talk about the sensor suite here, what all this does and what all it tracks. So of course, a heart rate sensor, EDA, which is apparently electrodermal activity, which helps with that stress monitoring, skin temperature, accelerometer for steps, cadence, activity detection, things like that. GPS route when connected to your phone, it helps with that. And then sleep tracking, your stages, your heart rate variability, awakenings, regularity, stuff like that. All right, before we hop into the software here, which is a big part of this, right? Because it's a smartphone. I want to talk about kind of what I feel the company is doing here when it comes to health tracking. Something like an Apple Watch is like every second of every day, I need to know exactly how my heart is doing. It's this more involved, like always on you health monitor. That's what I feel that, you know, an Apple Watch is. And you're paying a premium price to a big company to have that kind of stuff. NOWATCH is sort of taking the approach of, in my opinion, they're doing the whole stress thing, right? Like, how is your body responding over long periods of time or during the day to different stressors in your life? So not only does the form of the watch, it just looks like a watch, that's nice, but you have it silently sort of looking at how you're managing your stress throughout the day. And now whether that's like stress in your mind or stress on your body, it's trying to paint this longer term picture for you. So you'll see things like stress duration and recovery time here, as well as like frequency. So those are the things that show up first. So as you can see here, we'll get in on the app. There's some issues that I have, and I'll bring them up now. Connectivity issues, a few of them here, and I am running the iOS 26 beta, which could have a lot to do with this, and I shouldn't put that fully on the NOWATCH company for connectivity issues when I'm doing things that are in beta versions. But I do have connectivity issues with this device quite often, but I think to the point I just made, it doesn't really matter, because this is more about like, how did I manage stress last month? How did I manage it throughout the day to day? And less of like every second of every day, am I fully connected? Is the device connected? Now, the watch itself keeps data here. So if it becomes disconnected and you connect it again, it syncs over all that data. So it doesn't just disappear, which is nice. But sometimes when you log in, you'll see some things missing. And I'll say too, like if you can see here, these stats never really show up for me, like heart rate. If you click in on them, you can see them, but on the dashboard itself, they don't really show up, which is kind of frustrating to me. And then this graph here also doesn't do that. But if you come into timeline, you can look at all this stuff. So you can see my heart rate. Obviously I was sleeping and then I woke up, started moving around for the day. This is that stress gauge, how my body's reacting. Same thing here. You got a calm zone. I was up in the morning, taking a shower and stuff, helping with the kids. Now I'm here at the studio. I'm a little bit more relaxed and seated. You have your step counters there. And then you have your motion here. How much are you moving your body? It's using that gyroscope inside, things like that. And then you can also switch over here to overview, which gives you a little more like over time, kind of what I was mentioning earlier. How's your body doing over time? You can look at things compared day to day and month over month and see things plotted more on a graph here. And then you can switch over to your sleep specifically, how you're doing during those times as well. So like I said, it becomes disconnected quite often. It's an easy fix. You just kind of click and hold the button until it buzzes and then come up here and hit like reconnect. There's a button there and then it transfers all your data over. It's a little frustrating just coming from like an Apple device that is like always connected, rarely have any issues there. But like I said, I do think in their defense, which I probably shouldn't be defending this, like I would hope they would get this right eventually, but it's not super important for it to be connected 24/7. Now, speaking of that button that you can reconnect with, that is a very interesting button. So you can it's a function button. You can kind of set it up for whatever you want. You can set it up for like, I'm starting a workout now, start tracking, things like that. But I think the coolest thing, and it comes out of the box like this, if I tap this button, I get a notification on my phone. As you can see, it just popped up. If my phone was like locked, I would just get a notification, which I would click on, then it would open this up. Say I like am feeling kind of anxious or stressed, or maybe I'm very happy, really any emotion. If I'm feeling like, wow, I feel really happy right now, or I feel kind of scared, or like I'm stressed, I hit that button and it brings you to this screen where you can say like, I'm pretty calm right now. I'm making a video, probably not as calm as if I was just chilling in my office, but I'm feeling really positive. I love the work that I'm doing today. Everyone's technically healthy in my family, right? So I'm feeling pretty good. So, and then I can add like, you know, I'm feeling confident, I'm happy, I'm at ease right now, I'm focused, I feel safe. And then you can add details. You could say like, come in here and say, making a video. Right? And then they have some things too, like with a service provider, crafting at home, that you can choose sort of off the shelf, but then you just hit done. And if you check in throughout the day, it will make notes of that. And the app will, you know, through AI, be able to see like, wow, you were stressed and you said you were calm, or you were stressed and you said you were at the doctor's office. So that maybe makes a lot of sense. And what I think is cool too, is you can set up another cool feature where is, right now I have it set up and I think it's out of the box this way too. If I'm in a state of stress for more than 5 minutes, the watch buzzes me. And I know like, oh wow, I must be stressed whether I realize it or not. Then I can go check in and maybe make a note like, you know, I was dropping my son off for the first time at daycare for his whole life or something, and like I was really stressed. Or maybe it's like if you're going to meet a client that you have a really hard time with, maybe that's why you were stressed. And then you can start to pick up on like, maybe how can I approach that situation? I get stressed every time I see this client. What can I do better next time to be less stressed in that situation? So again, it's this longer look at what is causing stress, what's causing consistent stressors in your life. And then I think what's interesting is they pair this with, at the end of the day, so I can look at yesterday, my daily reflection. So we'll hop in here and give it a second to pop up. Right, so if I hop in here, I can look at my reflection. And this is created by AI. And when you first get the device, you can actually set up how you want AI to speak to you, which I think is interesting as well. It can be more straight to the point. It can be more flowery and supportive. I kind of went middle ground for everything. I wanted the information. I didn't want it to be too flowery, but I also didn't want it to be like, you're stressed, fix it. So it will kind of tell you some things that it's realized. So it will look at the data it's collected. And then if you do these check-ins and you give it more like subjective data, like I was scared because I had to eat clams and they usually give me bad diarrhea or something like that, then it will know like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that because you were very stressed about that. But this is pretty interesting, and you can come down here at any time and sort of set up again how you want AI to be first enabled, and then second, how you would like it. Even like the length at which it gives you your rundown that you just saw, things like that, when you would like this to pop up and be a notification for you. I just want to throw this in really quickly. This last tab here, they've created these sort of resources here too. So they don't just like share with you that you're being stressed a lot and maybe what the reason is, but they can give you ways to deal with that too, which I think is like very obvious, right? Like if I'm super stressed, how can I harness stress? Let's do shift to your perspective, right? And they give you sort of these meditative states. You can do some tips and tricks here and there to help you as well. Boost your energy, right? Like there's, you know, 3x3 focus. Let's see what this looks like. Let's add some rain, start. Before beginning, take a deep breath. List 3 things you can see. Oh, this is cool. It's like an interactive way of meditating. I like that. So not just this is what you're dealing with and what your body's dealing with, but how to then act upon that. I think that's pretty neat. So again, I think it's really interesting where you're kind of working with the tracking here. It's letting you know when you're stressed, and you're able to check in with it and tell it why you're stressed. Or maybe you're feeling really excited. You can let it know why you're excited, and then it can use that with these insights for you. So you get this better, I think, more subjective look at your health and more of like a feeling of your health rather than just, here was your heart rate, it was high, it was low, here's how much you moved today, which I think is more so the vibe of like Apple Watch, for instance. So like overall, I think this kind of tech is super interesting. As you may or may not know, like I love technology. I'm obsessed with it, but I also love more analog stuff, writing in a journal, for instance. So like a piece of tech that sort of marries technology and the analog is always gonna be really interesting to me. And I, you know, digging in deeper with the NOWATCH company and realizing what their angle is with health and tracking and fashion and how they look at smart wearables is just been really interesting to watch. They do have a NOWATCH B coming out later on this year in the fall, which I hope to get my hands on as well. It doesn't have the modularity, so price is a little bit lower, but they have a couple different different sizes. They look fantastic, but it does a lot more of this stuff. And I think they've updated some things inside as well. So hopefully I get my hands on one of those and I'll make a video on that. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments down below. If you have any other questions about this device specifically, let me know. There's a lot to it. So this video has gone on for a really long time, I know, but I think it was worth it. So who do I think this is for? I definitely think it's for the like crazy athlete that needs something like Garmin or Apple Watch, or, you know, those like, I'm working out all the time, I really need to see all my data on my watch kind of thing. This is for the person who maybe loves wearing regular watches and just wants some kind of health tracking. Maybe the smart ring didn't do it for you and you just want to have, or maybe you just don't like wearing rings, right? And you still want to have just a watch on your wrist that tells the time in an analog format, but it's nice to have the tracking there. Or maybe you are stressed a lot. Maybe you deal with anxiety like I do, and having something like this that is checking in sort of a different way than a normal smartwatch would, this might be for you as well. Really interesting device, really interesting company. I'm excited to watch them as they grow into this market. Yeah, but that's gonna do it. Thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you're new. Like this video for more like it. Watch this video next. I think you're gonna love it. And we'll see you all in the next one.